Good evening, beautiful people. Thank you for kicking it with us and welcome in to another edition of WNBF Extra Point. I'm your host, Gabe McDonald, and you already know the drill. We're taking you all across the Grand Strand and PD for highlights and scores of this week's high school football action for the rest of our half hour. Like we do every week, we kick things off with our game of the week. It's a big one in Little River as region play begins in Region 6-4A. It's a battle between Hartsville and North Myrtle Beach. A pregame meeting of the minds between Jeff Calabrese and Matt Reel. Those Chiefs ready to roll and start region with a dub. Very first drive, they would find the end zone. Their main back, Elijah Vereen, taking the direct snap in the jumbo package. He makes his way in for 6. Got to give the big fellas a little syrup for all those pancakes they were eating up tonight. Call it IHOP. But the Foxes come right back and respond in a major way. The freshman Demarion Coe takes the ensuing kickoff, makes a few moves, finds a crease, and that is all she wrote. He takes it 89 yards the other way. Hartsville would connect on the PAT to go up 7-6 over North Myrtle. More from the Foxes later in the first quarter. Jayshawn Anderson takes the handoff, cuts to the outside, and just reaches the pylon for the score. Hey, watch out for over there. Even those with the cameras got to keep their head on a swivel. Hartsville up 8 points after the first quarter. Early in the second, Foxes trying to pull away a little bit. This time it's Carmelo McDaniel with the carry. He barrels over a few defenders and finds Pater from 5 yards out. That would increase Hartsville's lead to 15. But back come those Chiefs. Right up the gut, give Mr. Vereen another 6. Second score of the evening for the senior. That would bring the home team back within 8 points of the Red Foxes. Time winding down just before the half. This time the Foxes goes to the air. McKendry Douglas lets this one fly, and it's Jonathan Flemister on the receiving end, and nobody is going to catch him. That 53-yard scoring strike would put Hartsville up 28-13. Going into the locker room, we move to the second half. Big play still coming for the Foxes. McDaniel with the rock on the jet sweep finds a crease along the opposite sideline that cuts all the way back across the field. 58 yards later, he finds points. Hartsville now with a 35-13 lead. But those Chiefs, boy, they weren't going down without a fight. They get a big play in the passing game as well. Cam Freeman hits a streaking KJ Stanley up the sideline for the score. North Myrtle trying to get back into it. They trailed 35-20, but then Hartsville would pretty much put this one to bed. There's a reason why this man just got an offer from Kentucky. Jayshawn Anderson punches it in from 2 yards out. That touchdown chain is well deserved. 145 yards and 2 scores for him this evening. The Foxes now up 42-20. They would add a field goal and hold on from there. Huge win for Hartsville. Their first of the year, and more importantly, their first in region play. 45-20 would be your final. The Conway Tigers are finally in action this year, hitting the road to take on the Sumter Gamecocks. Sumter would take the early lead with this run by Zaire Gamble right up the gut and into the end zone. The home team up 7-0. Conway, they would struggle for most of this game, but this would be the highlight of the night. Jabari Tiller launches the ball down the field. Montique Rames brings it in with a one-hand grab, looking like Odell out there, but hey, once again, Sumter would just overpower Conway. Ryan McCants, the Genesis Johnson, he eyes the end zone, he sprints and dives through the pylon, but the refs would rule him out right here at the 1 yard line, but of course, Sumter would eventually score. And outside of the highlight play we showed you, Conway wouldn't get it going on offense. They would lose their first game of the season by a final of 34-7. The Myrtle Beach Seahawks hit the road to take on the Darlington Falcons. First game of region for Myrtle Beach. Early first quarter, Myrtle Beach's Malachi Washington takes the handoff and takes it down the sideline for a gain of 30 yards. Big plays like this would be the name of the game for MB, much like they are all season long. That offense is something special, guys. A few plays later, Washington would finish what he started by finding the end zone on a short play. The Seahawks with the early 7-0 lead over Darlington. The Falcons' first drive would end in a punt, but the punter coming up here would actually mishandle the snap, and that would give the Seahawks first and goal. And guys, you already know they were going to take advantage of that. Not too long after that mishap, Myrtle Beach's main man under center, the App State commit, Ryan Berger, would find Jake Doty. I know that last name sounds a little bit familiar, for a touchdown. The Seahawks go up 14-0 over Darlington. Myrtle Beach would finish the first quarter with a 28-0 lead. And guys, they would just pile it on from there. They opened region with a huge win, 76-0. I promise that is not a typo. The West Florence Knights traveled across town to face off against their rival in the Wilson Tigers late second quarter. West Florence already up big, 32-7 and driving. But hey, Wilson would get a big play right here by Kavari Butler. He picks off a pass and returns it all the way to midfield, and that would end the first half. Good momentum for Wilson, trying to spark a comeback, but West Florence, they would continue to dominate the second half. As running back Darren Lloyd coming up here finds a crease and takes it for a 20-yard gain. Lloyd would end up finding the end zone just a couple plays later. and the Knights would go up 39-7 over Wilson. And if you couldn't tell already, this would not be Wilson's night. On the very next drive, West Florence linebacker Franklin Emerson forces and recovers a fumble. And guys, those Knights would go on to cruise to victory over their rival. The final score here would be 53-7. Another good one in Class 4A taking place tonight in Rock Hill, a ranked matchup between South Florence and South Point. This one a battle until the very end, but it would be the Stallions getting it done in a close one. 33-27 will be your final. Heck of a fight by the Bruins as they drop their first game of 2021. Now let's drop down to Class 3A. We'll take you down to the South Strand where the Waccamaw Warriors play host to their cross-county rivals from across the bridge, those Georgetown Bulldogs. A defensive battle to begin the contest, but a bad snap on a Waccamaw punt would give the Bulldogs excellent field position. The Warriors try to run it out, but the Bulldogs would be all over that. They take over the 2-yard line, and then Georgetown's Tajee Mitchell takes advantage from the goal line and puts the Bulldogs up 6-0 near the end of the first quarter. And it didn't take long for those Warriors to respond. Jay Simmons, remember his name, folks. He finds room on the outside and takes it in for the easy touchdown to give the Warriors a 7-6 lead in the second quarter. But that Warrior defense not allowing the Bulldog offense to find a rhythm. Blake Nash coming up with a pick from Owen Powell, and then Waccamaw would turn it into points. They're not looking back here as Jared Yonker would pitch it to Simmons, who takes it to the house, 52 yards all the way to put Waccamaw up 14-6. The Warriors would recover themselves a fumble on the ensuing kickoff, and Yonker would waste no time coming up here. He would connect with J.J. Stepp for a 43-yard touchdown pass. Those Warriors looking good, folks. They would go on to win this one by a final of 28-12. And guys, we're not done just yet. Much more to go as we'll bring you the rest of the highlights in Class 3A along with the 2A, 1A, and SCISA action. But before we get to all that, we swing back by North Myrtle Beach for this week's Beach Tim Gymnastics Cheer of the Week.